Good morning, everyone. Today is Friday, April 12th.
Welcome to PAN Pacific Academy News.
I am Anton Liu.
I'm Lisa Bo.
I hope you all had a wonderful spring break. Some people traveled to the Dominican Republic. The trip was organized months ago so they could have a wonderful spring break and also have opportunities to do some services. Now we are going to switch with Peggy's interview with Miss Kelly.
Thank you, Lisa and Antoine. I'm Peggy. I'm the reporter of PA News. Today, I'm going to interview Miss Kelly about the spring break trip. Hi, Miss Kelly. Can I ask you some question about the spring break trip?
Yeah, sure.
So first question is, where did you go during the spring break?
Okay. Both PAI and the PAE students and our chaperones, including Ms. Enrique Gonzalez and also Mr. Hans and me, we went to an 8-day trip to Dominican Republic.
Okay. What part do you think is the most beautiful during the trip?
Dominican Republic is actually a beautiful country. Very warmer climate is very beautiful, very green. I think what make us really impressed and most all the kids like is our projects. We participated in two projects. That's both community service. One project is we volunteer for agriculture engineering school. This school offers scholarship to students from Haiti. You know, Haiti is a very poor country, and they have a very serious problem of deforestation. You know, all the trees were cut, to cook or to do other things. So there is a lot of problem of like a flood, and the whole country is really poor right now. So this school actually offers scholarship to the students from Haiti and to teach them about agricultural skills. And after they graduate, they have to go back to serve their country, Haiti, in a government to help to improve the deforestation problem. We think it's very meaningful. So our students help to plant trees and work in the greenhouse. Actually, we worked very hard for 2 days, we feel very happy that we can contribute in this meaningful project.
The last question is, do you think this trip is satisfied?
It's satisfying, yeah. All the students, what I really like is it's not just a fun trip. Because of course students have a lot of fun. We visited some historical site, and we had good food. We had ice cream. We took the boat to the sea, so they have 2 days on the beach. And then we play volleyball, beach volleyball. But I think the best thing is we feel this is a meaningful trip because we volunteer and contribute a little bit to this volunteer projects. And another thing is, I think the PAE and PAI students, they became very good friends, and we hug when we arrived at the LAX airport before we left. They all feel, it's too short. We wanted, So and also we built the PA spirits. So I think that's the most fun thing, and all the students feel they're inspired. And they feel they just have fun, and then they do something meaningful.
Okay, thank you. You joined our interview.
Thank you.
Let's go back to Antoine and Lisa.
Thank you, Peggy, for your interview. And thank you, Miss Kelly, for sharing more information about the trip. Other students went out of US and traveled to other countries. They learned new cultures and got more experience. Our reporter Billy Fan will interview Jensen to listen to his experience in other countries.
Thank you, anchors. I'm the reporter Billy. Today I'm going to ask some students who went out the US during the spring break. Hi, Jensen.
Hi, Billy.
So do you went out and have fun during the spring break?
Yes, I went to Japan with Jason and Rocky.
So why did you went there?
because for fun, because we like Japan, and there's many things that made us to go to travel.
So what's the most unforgettable thing during the break in Japan?
So we live together, and each night we will have fun with other. And one times, they actually went outside to buy some kind of creepy and strange thing, and they began to film. And one time also we have fun with like something to hide their eyes, and just try to be silent and fight with other, and it's very fun. And I have some film. If you want, after the report, I can show to you.
I'm interested to watch the film you filmed there, and it sounds fun. So what is the most delicious food you think you ate in Japan?
So as people know, the sushi ramen is the most delicious food in Japan and famous. And we went to eat at the Chicken Lake Ramen, I think. That very delicious, and maybe unforgettable.
Yeah, thank you for answering.
Thank you.
Okay, now let's go back to our anchors.
Thank you, Billy, for your interview. The experience in other countries is very interesting to know.
Last week, we talked about the crashed airplane incident. It was caused by the Boeing company.
Matthew and Sean will have a discussion with Mr. Norton and going deeper with the topic.
Thank you, Lisa and Antoine. Today we are going to discuss about an airplane accident. There were two airplanes it got crashed recently. On October 29th, 2018, Lion Air's airplane got crushed, and the accident happened 12 minutes later after taking off.
On March 10th this year, airplane of Ethiopian Airlines crashed. Accident occurred 6 minutes later after taking off. Those airplanes were the same kinds of airplane that was Boeing 737 MAX 8. This airplane is new, and it is also good at fuel efficiency. So many airlines order this airplane. That's why it became a big issue. So we invite Mr. Lunton as a special guest. Hi, Mr. Lunton.
Hello, Matthew. Hello, Sean.
Do you have any background of airplane?
Yes, actually, I was an engineer for Teledyne. They're a company that makes printed circuit boards, and we made printed circuit boards, manufactured them for aircraft, mostly military aircraft, but we did have products that we made for commercial aircraft as well.
Oh, that's great. Unfortunately, there was a two crash. There was a Boeing, the same kind of airplane, Boeing 737 MAX 8.
Mm-hmm.
I know to make an airplane they need many kind of function.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about that to crash?
I did a little bit of reading about that. That particular plane is actually, the original design was from the 1960s, when I was a little boy. That's how old that design is. A company, especially that are mass producing a product, even a product as big as an airplane, will find it more profitable to redesign an existing product than to make a new product from scratch because of tooling, right? They want to use the same assembly line, so to cut costs down, if they can keep things as much the same as possible and only upgrade an existing product, that makes it cheaper for them to do. And that's what they did in this case. They took the existing old 1960s design for a smaller plane than the 747, and they attempted to upgrade it and make a more modern plane out of it so they could keep the costs down. And in doing so, what they did is they extended the fuselage and made some modifications that normally would not make it fly well. But they can have a computer control software system to compensate for any design problems, right? And it'll help detect those with sensors and whatnot and adjust the flight of the plane, even though its design doesn't really make it fly well.
So the computer control system malfunctioned made the airplane crash to the ground, and then I heard like because of that problem, the airplane went up and down very dangerously.
Yeah, the function was to keep the speed by controlling pitch, and then but their pilot doesn't know how to control the airplanes. But still, FAA and Boeing company knew that problem, but they still pushed the sell the Boeing 737 MAX 8. So, what do you think about that situation?
Well, that's another example of maybe some of the downsides of competition and competing for these kinds of contracts with businesses. Boeing's main competitor is a company from France called Airbus, and they were in some pretty stiff competition for the contract for this airplane. And so, so Boeing wants to push ahead, and they want to get their prototype ready and into place so they can win the contract over Airbus. And so they took some shortcuts, right?
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, the design of that plane is not completely aerodynamic. There's some problems because it's an older design. And so you're right, that software is supposed to have sensors, from what I understand, and they're supposed to detect stall conditions. If the plane's angle of attack is too high, or it has bigger engines on it now, and that sensor malfunctioned. From what I understand, is from the accident, and so the pilot. There was an argument over, of course, from Boeing. They want to say that it was pilot error, but it was clearly not pilot error.
And so I heard there was 2 crash very recently, and then they all got crashed to the ground. Like the first one, it did like it started to like going up in 6 minutes, and they crashed down to the land.
Yes, right after takeoff.
Yeah, and then also the other one was 12 minutes and crashed to the ground.
Indonesia and Ethiopia. Yes.
Do you think like both of them, they're like only because of the malfunction problem, or do you think there's any other reason?
From what I've read, it seems like it's not pilot error. They've looked at the pilot's logs and the black box information. It seems like the pilots did everything that they were supposed to do, which is the source for quite a bit of controversy, right?
But what I read, there was the Boeing company didn't tell to pilot how to control that system. That system was new system, and then.
From what I understand, from the sources that I read, again, part of using an older plane like this is, in one of the arguments of using an older design, I should say, is that you don't have to change too much, especially, and part of the argument was for the pilots. So you don't change the interface or the control of the plane, the operation of the plane. It uses the same old systems in the same old layout, right? So it's another argument against pilot error, because they have the same layout and the same controls, but the plane itself has different design features on it now. And so how do you compensate that? If you try to fly it the same way, it's not going to fly the same way. So they use control software to do that. So again, the controversy is it pilot error, or is it Boeing's fault, or is it the pilot's fault? Initially, Boeing wants you to believe that it's the pilot's fault, of course. They want to defend their design. But more and more evidence seems to be pointing towards that the pilots seem to be doing their job, seem to do it right. And it seems like a malfunction of that sensor.
But actually, past time before accident, the FAA was the standard for aviation for world. But actually, after this accident, can you still believe the FAA?
As an organization and as a regulatory or regulation part of our government, yes, because some regulation is better than none, right? The thing is, should the FFA be investigated, though, for this? Yes, they should. Yeah, they should. When something like this happens, who's in charge? They need to be investigated, right, for any possible corruption or just bad practices, right? But the organization, the FFA as a whole and historically, yeah, I can still trust them, sure. So we were talking about whether or not I still have faith in the FAA. My government's, the American government's regulatory division for the airlines. What about other countries, though? What about, for example, Korea? Do you have government airline regulation there?
So Korea government, they followed their United States government FAA's policies, and that's what happened to Korea right now.
So did Korea ground their 737 Maxes?
Actually, Korean government didn't say anything about Boeing 737 MAX 8, but Korea have only two Boeing 737 MAX 8. The company name is Thai Airlines.
Mm-hmm.
They stopped flying them themselves.
Oh,
so,
okay. They voluntarily did that.
Yeah, they don't fly anymore. But still, I think not only Korea, but also many countries follow FAA decisions. So I think FAA have a very big law, and they must be open, and they must be truth or
honest.
Yeah, honest.
For my opinion, I think like we can still trust FAA association because like even though they had an accident before and then it's happening like these days, it's like it's not like their FAA's fault, and then it like also mistake can happen for like living our life. So I think it's still safe to travel to airplane instead of traveling to the car. And then I heard the percentage of like getting crashed for the airplane is very low, like compared to car. I think we can still trust FAA, and we could like travel by airplane, riding airplane.
Yeah, I agree. Air travel is still statistically much safer than other forms of travel.
So, Mr. Norton, thank you for joining our discussion, and I hope it like helped our PA News. Thank you.
All right, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
So let's go back to Antoine and Lisa in the studio.
Thank you, Matthew and Sean, for such a great discussion.
Let's go to our education reporter Albert to learn about this week's vocabulary word.
Hi, PA students. I'm Albert, the Pacific Academic News education reporter. I'm glad to tell you Mr. Kovics' word of the week. Correctly use and show the meaning of the word with Mr. Kovics and NRVP card. This week's word is capricious. Capricious is an adjective. It means given to sudden and unaccountable changes of mood or behavior, changing often and quickly, erratic, impulsive. For example, the capricious winds made it hard to predict the weather. Thank you and have a wonderful week. Now let's go back to Antoine and Lisa.
Thank you, Albert, for teaching us the vocabulary word.
Let's go to Sean to learn more about Qingming Festival.
Hi, this is Sean Lee from Culture Corner, and this week we have a special guest. It's Dr. Wan, and Dr. Wan, thank you for coming on for my culture club.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean, for inviting me.
Yes, and can you introduce yourself to audience, please?
Okay, my name is Thomas Wan. I'm a math teacher in Pacific Academy. Both my parents are from mainland China, okay, but I was born in Taiwan.
Yeah, and then I heard April 5th is a Qingming Festival.
Yes.
And then can you explain me about the festival like more to me?
Okay. We have many different festivals throughout the years. Majority of those festivals are joyful, happy holidays, except this one, okay? The Qingming Festival is the one that we pay respect to our ancestors. So during that day, a lot of people have to go home. Okay, so usually if you have a grave nearby, not grave, the ancestor grave, so you need to go over there to clean up the area and provide some food. Okay, and also some people may burn the paper money, the fake paper money. Okay, but since my parents are from China, so I don't have any place to go to. And so usually in my family, we don't celebrate April 5th. The other reason is my mother is a very sincere Christians. Okay, Christians are not allowed to worship. Okay, but there are many people like my situation. They are far away from their hometown, but usually they can carry a wooden plate. Okay, they can have their ancestors' name or history written on it. So on April 5th, they can, worship their plate. Okay, just treat it like a grave.
And then on that day, is there any special food you guys eat on grave or?
I don't think there's any particular food you need to provide. Okay, and I know there's some people maybe just the food. For example, if that's your parents' grave, now you probably know what kind of food they prefer, so you prepare those food for them.
So is it mostly about traditional Chinese food like that?
Yeah, you always Chinese food, yes.
Okay. And then is there anything do special, anything special happen or on that day, since it's a festival, is there anything big happen instead of going grave and
again, since we never celebrate this particular festival, so I don't have too many ideas what people usually do, but I know for most family, in particular the elderly, okay, this is a very, very important day for them. Okay, I don't know, maybe over time, this festival become not as celebrated as before, okay, and because every day nowadays, I guess lots of people when they pass away, they instead of bury, so usually they have they just burn into ashes, right, and put it in a pot, right? So some people say it's more environmental. So yeah, I don't know any other people, but for my family, this is just another day for us. By the way, April 5th is the national holiday. So government allow everybody to go home to celebrate these days. Okay.
Oh, I see. So Dr. Wan, thank you for coming out for my Culture Club corner.
Okay, you're welcome.
Yeah, let's go back to Lisa and Antoine in the studio.
Thank you, Sean, for telling us about the Qingming Festival.
Now let's meet Derek with the weather forecast.
Hi everyone, here is the weather forecast for Ervant. I'm Derek. Today is Friday. Today's weather will be sunny. The high will be 23 degrees Celsius. Compared to last week, the temperature is increased than last week. And I think the weather for this weekend is good for people go out with friends and family. Please remember bring sunscreen before you go out. Okay, thank you. Have a wonderful weekend. Now go back to Antoine and Lisa.
Thank you, Derek, for telling us the weather.
Let's go to Alex with the birthdays and lunch.
Thank you, Lisa and Antoine. Hi, I'm Alex, and it's birthday and lunch menu announcement time. So next week, on Monday, we have hamburger or French fries. On Tuesday, we have curry beef or curry chicken with rice. On Wednesday, we have chicken or pork chopped with rice. On Thursday, we have popcorn chicken or spicy sauce chicken with rice. And on Friday, we have glass noodle with chicken or fried rice. Also, we would like to say congratulations to these following people: Leon Dong, Carly Reckenberg, Linda Lin, Sophie Liu, Sui Chen, Ashley Kim, and Sean Lee. Hope you have a great birthday and hope your life feel fulfilled with love and happiness. Thank you. Now let's go back to Anton and Lisa in the studio.
Thank you, Alex, for this information.
We wish you have a happy birthday. Thank you for watching our PA News. Hope you enjoyed our show.
This is Antoine and Lisa. See you next week.
Have a wonderful weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.